you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're a new viewer, welcome to my channel. In this channel, I teach some subjects, and I also have a playlist called Specials, in which it's a little bit of learning combined with an interesting phenomenon. Which brings me back to this video. This video is the short version of my previous video, which was 30 minutes long. So for some of you, you would prefer a short version. You don't need all the learning in front of it about series and sequences, arithmetic series, and so on. This short version is supposed to be between 5 and 10 minutes, and it basically covers just the phenomenon, just the proof. I might do short versions for all the specials that are pretty long, like maybe 20 minutes long. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Now, one thing to note, I heard that the blue text has been harder to read, so I'm going to be using yellow text from now on, like this. With that out of the way, let's start the proof. So what we want to prove is S, which is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6, all the way to infinity, is equal to negative 112. To prove that, we need a new series, S1, which is equal to 1 plus negative 1, plus 1 plus negative 1 plus 1 plus negative 1, and so on. Note that I'm not writing down the series just to save time. So S1, we want to prove what it is, that it's a finite number. Well, let's subtract 1 from S1. I'm just going to write the first two terms of this. So in the original series, it's 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1, or basically 1 plus negative 1, plus 1 plus negative 1, and so on. Back to this. When you subtract 1, 1 is the first term of the series. So you basically take away the first term, and the resulting series is just basically the remaining term, which means it'll become negative 1 plus 1, dot, dot, dot. Just the first two terms I'm writing just to show that. Negative 1 plus 1, negative 1 plus 1. How does that have to do with this? Well, if you notice, S1, it's 1 minus 1, right? And 1's opposite is negative 1. Negative 1's opposite is 1, and so on. The pattern continues. Meaning negative S1 is basically equal to this. So we can write an equation. Negative S1 is equal to S1 minus 1. We can take the S1 to this side. So it'll become 2S1 minus 1 is equal to 0. Take the 1 to this side. 2S1 is equal to 1. And then divide them both by 2. So you get S1 is equal to 1. So now we know this is equal to 1/2. We still didn't get to our proof yet. So we need another series, S2. And S2 would be equal to 1 minus 2 plus 3 minus 4 plus 5 minus 6, and so on. We want to find out what this is equal to. So what we do is we subtract S1 and S2. For the sake of being quick, I'm not writing down the full series, but here's the main gist. 1 minus 1 is 0. Negative 1 minus negative 2. Basically, negative 1 plus 2 is plus 1. Then we have a 1 minus 3, which would be minus 2. And then we have a negative 1 minus negative 4, or plus 3. Then we have 1 minus 5, or minus 4. You see the pattern here? It's basically the same thing as S2, meaning this is equal to S2. So then we can take S2 to this side. So it'll become 2S2 is equal to S1. Now we know S1 is equal to 1/2, meaning 2S2 is equal to 1/2. Divided by 2, and you get S2 is equal to 1/4. But you might be thinking, how does that relate to S? How are you going to find out what S is? Now I'll show it to you. I paused a few seconds in case you wanted to solve it on your own. I didn't pause the other times because this is supposed to be a quick video. So now we do a similar thing. We do S2 minus S, which would be 1 minus 2 plus 3 dot 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 minus 1 plus 2 plus 3 dot dot dot. So what's 1 minus 1? 0. Negative 2 minus 2, negative 4. Positive 3 minus 3, 0. Negative 4 minus 4, negative 8. 5 minus 5, 0, and so on. There's a pattern here. It's basically, you take away the zeros, because in this case, they don't mean anything. And then you're left with negative 4, negative 8, negative 12, and then negative 16, negative 20, and so on. So it's basically negative 4 times S, because it's negative 4 times 1, which is negative 4, negative 4 times 2, which is negative 8, negative 4 times 3, which is negative 12, and so on. So basically, S2 minus S is equal to negative 4S. So take the S to that side, it'll become S2 is equal to negative 3S. Remember, S2 is 1/4. So negative 3S is equal to 1/4. Divided by 3, or divided by negative 3 first, and you get S is equal to negative 1/12. Exactly what we wanted to prove. With that, I'll end the video. See you later, next time.